Investors. Now, BlackBerry maker Research in Motion holds its annual shareholder meeting today, and it comes at a bad time for the struggling company. The list of bad news coming from RIM in recent months, it just shows you how troubled the company is right now, from slumping sales to job cuts to a plunging share price and the delay of its new operating system, BlackBerry 10. Now, times are tough for one of technology's iconic brands, and never was that clear when a series of letters began appearing on the website BGR last year, letters supposedly from RIM employees speaking out about the direction the company was taking. Let's get more now on the troubles surrounding RIM from the president, editor-in-chief of BGR, Jonathan Geller, joins us now via Skype from Connecticut. And Jonathan, today we'll see this showdown between Research in Motion and its shareholders. Give us an idea of what the CEO will be up against.
Well, you summarized it, pretty well. I think people are angry. I think shareholders are angry. I think watchers of the company are angry. And they have every right to be. The company's down, 90, 95% since its high. And, things are changing. There are some good things happening, but I think Torsten Heinz, CEO, is definitely going to have to be prepared to answer some tough questions today.
You say good things are happening, but many are asking the question, is Research in Motion dying?
I've kind of said that myself. I think in a lot of ways they are. I think, obviously their next 6 to 9 months are the most vital period this company has ever had. They've delayed their new BlackBerry 10 operating system. I do think it's a good thing in the end they delayed it. But again, these 6 to 9 months are going to be the toughest thing this company's ever faced. And there is a huge transition going on within Research in Motion in terms of employees getting fired, replacing them with new and better people, a very big changing of the guard. So there's a good chance that RIM's not going to be able to survive this, however you look at it, unfortunately.
The prognosis is pretty bleak. You're giving the company 6 to 9 months, but saying it could turn things around during this critical window. What does it need to do to survive?
Well, I think RIM really needs to, for the first time in a very long time, figure out exactly what the company is. Whether it's an enterprise-focused company, whether it's a company that makes these niche devices with plastic keyboards and a group of loyal following people like that a lot, whether it's a consumer company, even whether it's a computer company. I think that's why we're seeing some of these tough issues RIM's facing nowadays, is because RIM was a great handset manufacturer, but they never really understood the switch from a smartphone to a computer in your pocket, like the iPhone or like Android devices. So RIM's never traditionally been a company that builds computers. And I think that's part of this big transition that they're going to have to try and now compete with at a very, very late start in the game, after Apple has a tremendous lead, after Android has a tremendous lead, and even Windows Phone, Microsoft's product, is making a little bit of stride as well.
And tell us, what's the mood inside the company? I mean, we know that you've been receiving emails from employees. What are they telling you? Just how dysfunctional is it from the inside? And is the mood changing? Is there any bit of optimism in recent days?
There is. It's really great to hear. I think at this point, every single person in the press is absolutely just kind of knife this company to death, if you will. And I think a lot of the employees recognize that, and they kind of just have their heads really focused straight. They're working on this new product, BlackBerry 10, and I think they're rolling with the punches. So I think the mood inside of RIM is actually pretty good. I think they're really focused on getting what they need to get done, and not letting a lot of the exterior things affect them. But I also think they're listening a bit more, which is also good. So it's great that they're actually having a channel of communication now as well.
But still, BlackBerry 10, it's been delayed until, the first quarter of next year. There's also this story in the New York Times about potential lawsuits from shareholders because of these delays. We know that the company is operating under a relatively new CEO. Do you think he can provide the guidance that the company needs these next few critical months ahead?
I think he's a better candidate. He's definitely better than the previous two co-CEOs at this point in time. Then again, he also was, so to speak, running BlackBerry in North America under those two gentlemen before. So I'm not really sure how different at the end of the day Torsten's going to be. From everything that I've seen, there definitely is a bit of difference, but we're going to have to wait and see these 6 to 9 months. If RIM doesn't have the most incredible product ever, there is a very tiny, tiny chance this company is going to exist. in 9 months from now, just because of the fact that the other platforms are so far ahead. So they really have an uphill battle. And I don't think that's going to come down to Torsten. It's going to come down to their product. It's going to come down to how they position it. They just hired a new CMO. So there's a lot of things kind of flowing there, and they're all going to have to come together in order for RIM to still be a company as we know today about 9 months from now.
And a hypothetical for you. I mean, it's pretty much certain that RIM's CEO is going to come out of today's shareholder meeting pretty battered and bruised. Let's say he gave you a phone call. If you were to advise him on the company turnaround, what would you tell him?
I would just say focus. I think that's something that RIM has not ever been able to do properly. And I'd also say execute. So I'd really focus on a core product that fit a large demographic, and I'd focus on that product. I wouldn't try and be an enterprise company. I wouldn't try to be a consumer company. I would just try to be the best mobile phone company or computer company in the world, and I'd focus on that. And I think that that's all they can do. They have to keep their heads down. They have to focus on it, and they have to pray that the market really is receptive to their new product.
Yeah, I mean, this is a company that invented mobile email after all. Jonathan Geller, thank you so much for joining us here on Newsstream. Take care.
Thank you.
Now, let's take a look at two of RIM's rivals now. Samsung and Apple, they are locked in a patent battle in multiple countries. It's part of the long series of legal fights between smartphone and tablet makers. Now, Samsung have won a victory in court, but have apparently lost a battle for taste. Let me explain. Now, Apple tried to convince the court that the design of the iPad was infringed by the Samsung Galaxy Tab, like this one right here. But the reason the judge ruled that consumers wouldn't confuse the Galaxy Tab with the iPad might not sit too well with Samsung. Now, the judge said, quote, they do not have the same understated and extreme simplicity which is possessed by the Apple design. And if that wasn't enough, he added, they are not as cool. A pretty damning verdict, but one that apparently won the case for Samsung.